Hi, I'm Margaret, and I'm making flapjacks today. When I was young, you could only get the plain variety, but I'm pimping it up a bit today, and I'm giving you 2 extra versions, fruit and nut, and this lovely chocolate and raspberry. So here's what we need. Now we're going to need 3 of these little tins. Each one's about 6 inches wide and 6 inches long. They need to be buttered and papered. Just snip the corners and it should fit in almost straight. There, that'll do. It's good to butter the paper as well. Stops the flapjacks from sticking. Flapjacks are so easy to make. All you need to do is to melt the butter, honey and syrup in a pan and then pour it over the oats. That's the basic version, but then you can add all sorts of things just to make it more interesting. I find a good way to measure sticky ingredients is to pop the pan onto a scales and just pour. Lyle's golden syrup is such a British ingredient. It's been around for over 100 years and is a great ingredient in all sorts of dishes. So I'm popping this on a medium heat just to let everything melt. There, that should do. At this stage I always think I've got too much liquid, but it's surprising how the rolled oats soak up that moisture. I have to make sure that every bit of oat is covered with the liquid. So I'm going to take just over 1/3 to start with for the first flapjack and squash it into the tin. I'll have to get right into those edges and make sure that it's patted down well. Then on with the demerara sugar. I like to be quite generous with this, it gives a lovely crunchy top. Demerara doesn't melt as easily as ordinary sugar, so it leaves that lovely crunch. Next I'm going to divide what's left into 2. And the first batch is going to have fruit and nuts added. I'm using almonds and raisins, but you can choose whatever you like. I've left some almonds out. I'm going to pop those on top so they become nice and roasted. Just making sure it's spread out evenly, there we go. And again it needs a good squashing down. On with the nuts. Give them a little press down too. And of course demerara sugar. Now for the third version. I'm using frozen raspberries here, and I'm going to be a bit careful how many I put in, because I don't want it to become too soggy. That should do. I've left a few just to go on top, so a good mix. and into the tray. I'm not going to top this one with sugar because we're going to pop some chocolate on top of this after it's cooked. Now they're ready to go into the oven. After 25 minutes they will be a little soft still, and they need to be left in the tins to cool completely. They'll soon firm up. Now for the chocolate. I've popped my tempering recipe in the recipe below this video, but basically it just needs spreading on. Then I'm going to top them with the raspberries. When each one is properly cooled, it's time to cut them. You'll need a good sharp knife for this. Flapjacks store quite well in an airtight container. You could also freeze them if you like. Now I wouldn't say no to any of these flapjacks, but my favourite have got to be the chocolate and raspberry. The sharpness of the raspberry and the sweetness of the chocolate make for a lovely taste. I'm off now to have a cuppa with a nice cup of tea. Catch you next week. Bye.